¿Segura?
Pasé lindo.
Welcome back to Striker, guys. Today we've got a giant update for you. Alex Pereira looks absolutely massive ahead of UFC White House, and the footage coming out of his camp shows a man who is ready to become the first 3-division champion in UFC history. For context, this is a guy who once stepped into the cage at 185 pounds as a middleweight. He's not moving up because he's being exposed or because the division became too tough. He's moving up because his body simply won't allow him to stay there anymore. He has spoken openly about struggling with weight cuts at light heavyweight, just like he eventually did at middleweight. Right now, he's walking around at approximately 242 pounds, or about 110 kilograms, and that's exactly where he wants to be. He doesn't want to go any heavier than that, and his team is being cautious and structured in managing his body composition heading into this fight.
Oh my goodness, Pierre was a good-looking heavyweight. Like, when he's put this size on, he's one of those guys that get lucky. You know, you don't know what your body's going to do. Your body might put it all in the midsection. It might put it all in your ass. You don't know. But he got it just like they took 8 pounds, and it was like they just painted it equally up and down. Every bit of him is about 2 ounces bigger. That's where he got his 8 to 10 pounds. Just a good-looking heavyweight.
Now here's where it gets genuinely funny. Georges Pierre, a man who is not easily impressed, given that he is literally one of the greatest fighters in the history of the sport, sat next to Pereira at UFC 328 in Newark and came away visibly shaken by how big the Brazilian is in person. Pierre openly confessed that he couldn't comprehend how Pereira achieved that size.
I asked him how much he weighs, and he says to me like he weighs he's gonna be like a 110 kilo, which is like 130 pounds, which is pretty big.
Yeah, 242.
Yeah, it's pretty big, yeah.
Then there's Sean O'Malley, who ran into Pereira while both fighters were testing out the special kits for the White House card. O'Malley is not exactly known for holding back his opinions, and his reaction to seeing Pereira up close was essentially unfiltered disbelief. He was stunned by the sheer physical presence of the man, especially by how much mass Pereira was carrying.
I think that fight's going to be a sick fucking fight, dude. I really do. But then Pereira, the way I saw him shadow boxing, and he just looks fucking, his punches look heavy. But I don't think Gon's going to be there to be hit. Gon's not going to sit there and be hit. He's going to fucking hit and move, stick and move, and it's going to be a tricky fight. It's going to be a way trickier fight.
Pereira's got to take it slow and make Gon go at him. This is what Volkov did. I thought Volkov beat Gon in his last fight with him. Make Gon come to you a little bit. A lot of people chase Cyril Gon, and he makes him look silly, you know? I'm not saying he made my best friend Tom Aspinall look silly, but the way he had success was because he made Aspinall go after him.
He can come in and watch.
Former UFC heavyweight champion Junior Dos Santos has come out and said he believes Pereira wins by knockout in his heavyweight debut, reasoning that Gain's style actually plays well into Pereira's pressure-heavy game and powerful hands.
Against Gon, you know, I think it's a great fight for him, especially because of his style. He's always putting pressure on his opponents, taking their space. Of course, Gon is very fast. He has good skills, you know. But the way Alex fight is like putting a lot of pressure, finding a good moment to throw those hard hands on the opponents, and that's what I think it's gonna happen on this fight, you know. And at some point, he's gonna knock Gon out on this debut on the heavy.
Now here's where the legacy conversation really heats up. If Pereira beats Gain and then eventually gets past Tom Aspinall for the undisputed belt, he becomes the first fighter in UFC history to hold titles in 3 different weight classes. That would be an unprecedented achievement, and the debate about where that places him historically is already in full swing. Henry Cejudo, who has never been shy about sharing strong opinions, says that accomplishment would put Pereira in the top 5 greatest of all time, but not necessarily at the very top.
Will Alex Pereira be considered top 5 of all time if he goes to beat Cyril Gane and becomes undisputed heavyweight champion? It's becoming undisputed because remember that interim title, it's not real. He beats Cyril Gane and he beats Tom Aspinall. He's in the top 5, greatest of all.
Usman disagrees, and honestly, his perspective is also valid. If Pereira achieves something no one in the history of the organization has ever done, it becomes genuinely difficult to argue that he does not belong in the conversation for the greatest ever.
Not the greatest?
No, because he was kind of pushed.
I think Alex Pereira puts himself in rarefied air if this man be the first ever and only 3-division champion in UFC history.
You would put him ahead of John Jones.
What are we talking about? I'm saying one of the best ever. We've got to put him in the conversation. Right now?
I put him top 15.
Yeah.
But Cejudo also added a sharp reminder about the interim belt situation. Aspinall is currently sidelined after undergoing double eye surgery early in 2026. He suffered the eye injuries during his title defense against Gane at UFC 321 last October and has not competed since. He is expected to return and fight whoever wins the Pereira versus Gane matchup. So even if Pereira wins the interim belt on June 14th, Cejudo is quick to point out that interim titles are essentially just a #1 contender spot with better presentation. Pereira would still need to defeat Aspinall to make any of this fully official, and that is a massive hurdle.
Ada, Cyril Gane, how do you see that match? Does size really matter in heavyweight?
Yes, size matter, but I think Pereira has a decent size for heavyweight. This is a big guy. The fight they might be the same weight.
So what would you say for a guy like Cyril Gane going up against a hard hitter like Alex Pereira?
This is a good matchup for him. Heavy hand, but stationary, doesn't move as much.
Cyril Gane's movement is different. It's problematic.
It's very problematic for him trying to get on his nerve. Cyril is very agile and Pereira is very stationary. And he doesn't officially have a wrestling that can respond. But again, he might be working on something that we haven't seen yet. But Cyril's style is different and give him an edge on this case.
So what are your thoughts on all of this? Let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more MMA content like this.